Chapter 35, Thursday, November 25th, Millionaires for the Month. Felix. Felix's mom insisted on cooking Thanksgiving dinner at their apartment, even though the hotel offered an all-you-can-eat buffet. And with Georgie and Michelle in Vermont, she was happy to extend the guest list. Felix invited Reggie, who felt like family, and Laura Friendly. He needed to try one more time to get her to change the rules. His mom had quit one of her jobs, and Apex 7 had returned the $1 million. The guests arrived at noon. Laura Friendly showed up with a massive bouquet of flowers and a bottle of wine. "I have 2 rules for my Thanksgiving dinner," Felix's mom said. "Number 1, no talk of money." "I like that rule," Mrs. Friendly replied and winked at Felix. "And the other rule is we start with dessert." His mom led Laura Friendly to the counter and offered her a slice of apple or pumpkin pie and a glass of wine. "This roll is even better." Miss Friendly took a small slice of each. After they finished first dessert, Felix helped put the finishing touches on for dinner. His mom would not allow their guests in the kitchen. Felix mashed potatoes and set out dishes. Then they all gathered around their small table with mismatched chairs, and they had so much food that not all of it fit. They rotated platters from the counter to the table and back, eating and laughing. Felix snuck a piece of turkey to Freebie, and he caught Laura Friendly sharing her roll with the dog too. After they'd eaten enough for 8 people, cleared the table, and loaded the dishwasher, Felix grabbed Freebie's leash. "Walking the dog. May I join you?" Miss Friendly asked. "I need some exercise." "Sure." They walked behind the apartment, building to the trail that circled the pond and picnic area. "Thank you for inviting me," Miss Friendly said. "This was nice." "You're welcome. What do you normally do on Thanksgiving?" She heavy-sighed. "Go to my sister's place. She has a lovely home in South Carolina, a lovely husband, 3 lovely kids, and a not-so-lovely cat." "And she didn't invite you?" "No, she invited me." She waved the air in front of her face like bugs were swarming. "Without our father around, it's just not the same. I've never spent a holiday with my dad." "I'm sorry to hear that." She blew on her hand. "I was lucky. My father was a big part of my life. I made sure I didn't work through holidays. He'd be my +1 for events. I could talk to him about anything, and even when he passed away a year and a half ago, I wasn't there for him." Felix stayed quiet, not sure what to say. He'd set up a hospice care, and they'd made him comfortable, but I was out of the country for work and didn't make it back in time. I said my final goodbyes to him on the phone, but I don't know if he heard me. Laura Friendly shoved her hands deep into her coat pockets. "Fortunately, my sister was there, and I was granted a do-over. If I could buy a do-over, I'd be there at his side." "I guess not even billionaires get do-overs." "Nope." She shook her head. They walked back in silence. Felix couldn't think of an easy way to bring up the money and the challenge, and they got inside of the apartment. They played Would You Rather, but Reggie created a philosophical version. "Would you rather be happy or knowledgeable? Would you rather love or be loved, assuming you can't have both? Would you rather a world without hate or a world without lies?" I might have been the worst game ever. With each question, Felix could imagine Benji groaning. Then they played Monopoly, which, surprisingly, Laura Friendly was terrible at. Monopolies are illegal. I don't have a good at this game. I don't want to be good at this game. Then she borrowed $500 from Felix so she wouldn't go bankrupt. After second dessert, Laura Friendly announced that she had to leave. She needed to be in London the next day. It wasn't a holiday overseas. Thank you again, Karen, Miss Friendly said to Felix's mom. You're a brilliant woman. Everyone should start with dessert first. His mom laughed. Any time. Felix walked to Laura Friendly out the building. He didn't want to ruin their Thanksgiving, but he had to try for her to understand what was happening. She quit her job, Felix blurted out. Excuse me? Miss Friendly stopped walking. My mom quit one of her jobs because she thinks I'm a millionaire, Felix explained. And we're not going to win your challenge. We have almost 1.9 million to spend. Parents breathing down our necks, and we're an internet joke. She held up one finger. Your mom said no talk about money. He couldn't tell if she was serious. I want to renegotiate. Oh my goodness. Felix said, just let us keep the rest of the money without having to spend it. Benji and I will split it. Laura Friendly clicked her tongue, and Felix knew the answer before she spoke. Is that why you invited me to dinner? No. His voice lost in his throat. I wasn't the only reason. She frowned. Felix, I cannot change the rules. Of course you can. Just let us withdraw. Can't be done. I set it up with my lawyers. I made it so no one, myself included, could change the rules. You can spend the money, but you cannot withdraw it and move it to another account. We'll buy stock or a house, or then sell it. You can't. He shook her head. You signed a contract. The lawyers will seize all assets you have after December 1st. Leonard Troll's job depends on it. He will not be paid if any rules are broken. He has a bonus structure tied to the successful conclusion of this venture. What do you mean? If Troltz allows the game to continue after rules have been broken, he will not be paid a bonus of $500,000. She shouldn't look proud at this condition. She didn't look proud at this condition. It's honestly out of my hands. Well, then just give us $1 million, Felix snapped. We can write a check right now. Laura Friendly flinched like she'd been hit. And why would I do that? Because we're friends. Felix stared her in the eyes. I don't like your definition of friend. She ducked into the open town car and driver closed the door. Felix stood in the cold without his jacket. He tried to think of something he could say to Miss Friendly. Did he owe her an apology? Everything was so messed up. He just asked her for $1 million. Who does that? Then the kids at school asked him to buy Nintendos and iPhones. It made him feel lousy. They were only interested in his debit card. At times he was thankful for the no gift rule. He couldn't buy them things, and that meant he didn't have to wrestle with the decision. The back window of the car lowered. Felix stepped closer. You have almost $2 million in a week to do whatever you want, he continued. That's not true. Why not enjoy the next few days and the last few dollars? Next Thursday, your life will return to normal. You are Cinderella at the ball. Stop thinking about what happens after midnight. The window closed, and the town car drove off. You're wrong. Felix sat on the curb alone. My life will never go back to normal.